Sky Park traffic. Young Cessna 73 Golf is turning left base, runway 17, Sky Park.
It's a nice landing.
Controls, instruments, gas, auxiliaries, radio, transponder, boost.
Sky Park traffic, Skylane 314 Tango Romeo is crossing runway 17 west east of the north taxiway. We've got the traffic just turning final. Sky Park traffic, Cessna 73 Golf is turning final, runway 17, Sky Park.
Sky Park traffic, experimental 69 and Echo's clear VX.
And Sky Park Skylane 4 Tango Romeo is clear 17. And Sky Park at Decathlon 50 X-ray Delta is lining up for 17.
Was he a full stop?
I don't know. The way he's turning off.
Yeah, he's going the whole runway.
There he goes.
And X-ray Delta's taking off 17, Sky Park. Is that Igor? Big Cessna. It is, yep. This is clear. Igor, hi. From Sky Park, taxi to the... Sky Park traffic, Skylane 314 Tango Romeo is holding short of 17. Party check. Sky Park traffic, Skylane 410 Romeo is taking runway 17. BAS, left turn out and southbound departure off the tailwind. And Sky Park traffic, Decathlon, Sierra X-ray Delta is departing from the patch to the north. Park traffic, Skyline 4, take Romeo is downwind runway 17, will be departing to the east and then southbound departure, 4 Tango Romeo.
I think it must have been Scott Slaymaker who's got one of the hangars just down from us.
Oh. Is that Igor?
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
What does he fly?
Retractable 182.
Oh, fun.
182 RG. Okay, so you take us up the West Practice area.
Okay.
I'm just going to fiddle with these things a little bit.
Just gonna straighten out a little bit.
Good idea.
Airport traffic, experimental 69 in Echo's clear via.
Airport traffic, Skyline 4, Tango Romeo is over the city departing to the south now, 6,200 climbing.
Did it come with some kind of suction cup?
Yep. I just haven't bothered with that. Just put it right there. Wonder if that'll stay there.
I mean, at least the thing with mine is that it trains itself on what straight and level is. Well, of course, you don't have the AHRS piece, so maybe not. Never mind.
Yeah, I bought the cheap version, as befits me. How do I get rid of this? Flights.
Morning traffic, and we'll be doing
It's kind of a funny wind.
Yeah, it's a little bit choppy. So now I've got Sentry Good up in the top left rather than Sentry Marginal.
Oh, that's
So I mean, that must be something to be pleased about.
okay.
Just sort of thinking about where I would put it in the biplane. I don't really have much space, so it may be the phone itself is better, because I can always expand the screen, can't I?
Yeah, that's the trick when you're limited on space. For those long flights, do you use some sort of holder? You know, some device that'll hold the phone?
Well, no, because I haven't used it. It's really only the second time I've turned this on with 4 flights. Oop. Let's see if I just dump that in there. Does that still work? Yeah, it still says Sentry good. That's right.
I just wonder if the metal of the door will, affect
Well,
it.
I think the door's fiberglass,
Oh, there you
so
go.
I don't think we've got a metal problem there. But I mean, it just may be that it prefers a different orientation. I think it likes to be kind of up like that.
Yeah, at least the one I've got, because of AHRS, there's a button in ForeFlight where you can tell it whether it's a tail dragger and, different things, so it can orient itself.
Well, that's good.
Got some birds off the left, down low, looks like we're okay. It's a group though. Can you see them there about?
Oh yeah. Fun.
So traffic on Star 78 Uniform Sierra, 18 miles south to field on the RNAV 35 approach to Sanctuary 9600 on field.
Can you tell eyeballing it how far below us they are?
Those?
Yeah. I mean, is that sort of 200 feet below?
I would have said maybe 500 feet below us.
Okay.
I think they were quite a way away. So is there any way of clearing all this sort of stuff that has little symbols on the left and...
Yeah. I mean, that whole menu bar can be turned off.
Where do I turn menu bar up? Under more?
I was thinking it was one of the ones across the top. I did it the other day on accident when I just turned here.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Yeah, there's little things across the top there. I wonder what that is.
It may be different on the phone than it is on the iPad, but I did it on accident.
I guess we can try. Aeronautical traffic. FPL. Invert, map, terrain, place labels, filters. Oh, so I can delete map legend. Maybe I'll leave that there. Synthetic vision. So it must be here.
for traffic, 40 over to the 7,500 headed.
Oh well, maybe we'll look at that later, figure out how we turn that stuff off.
Separate traffic, we're 111, equal back.
Is this still giving you a good signal?
6,000.
Yeah, still says Sentry good.
900
Nice.
feet. Down to runway 17.
Eagle 6 traffic, just at 562 citation. That's good procedure turnover tracking for your GPS Alpha 22.
Separate traffic, we're 111, back. Left down on runway 17.
So if I press the record button, that records where we are, and
Yeah, it's the track log. So altitude, GPS.
I'll press that.
Those are always fun to go back and review. You know, because it'll track speed, altitude, a bunch of different things. It's how I use I get ForeFlight to replay the flight 3D.
Right. Well, good.
Separate traffic, we're 111, equal back. Left stage, runway 17.
You could try some more S-turns if you want.
Okay, I always like those. So it's 5600, should be okay.
Yeah.
I'll just turn to line up with the
Separate
runway.
traffic, we're
The railroad.
equal back on final runway 17.
Sort of perpendicular. It looks roughly perpendicular.
Looks good.
You suppose the wind is still from the north? Guess we'll find out.
Well, the wind was from the south.
Right, yeah.
Yep.
That's what I meant.
The other north. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Have I already dropped the nose? Dang it.
Only fractionally. It's not bad. That's a nice bank angle for it. I just let it continue on round. took a little bit of the bank out.
Yeah.
I would have left it in, I think.
57 traffic, jet 562, citation, 23 out, speed tram bound, GPS 22.
All right, this is looking okay.
Yep. Wings level.
Right about there. Okay, let's go the other way.
Of course, if you've got a bit of wind from the south, you're probably going to need to keep in a little bit more bank because you're going to be drifting towards there. I'd keep in a bit more, otherwise you're...
I was thinking it was the opposite, right? That the wind is going to blow me into the railroad.
Yeah, so you're going to... Oh, actually, yeah, the issue is that you don't want to just have it drifting across like that, so you can't get wings level. So that's a good question. Maybe you're right.
I was thinking less bank angle, you know, until we get further into the turn.
Well, it's looking like it's going to be not too bad, but...
Yeah, I'm a little late, maybe.
Yeah, so I think maybe you needed just a bit more than that.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Not bad, didn't quite get it.
But you're not perpendicular now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, make a turn and you can straighten it up on the next one.
Okay. I'm going to go to the left here.
Sure. Bit more rudder.
Thanks. I'm just trying to eyeball it. Don't need more than 30. Okay.
Orbit traffic, Sky High 23 Bravo, we're about 6 miles to the east, we're going to be coming in midfield.
So I'm going to do a turn to the left this time.
Okay.
I don't think I was quite perpendicular.
Present traffic, 973 with Delta, we are 3.5 miles to the south. Gremlin northbound, 9,000
Turn some of that nonsense off.
I'm late again. Yeah, a little late.
Right rudder.
Thanks. So I had a question. I've heard of people doing S-turns on final to slow themselves down.
Yep.
Or they get asked to do that.
Yep.
It seems like they wouldn't look like this.
Well, no, because you're descending. Right.
And, you know, I'm making 90-degree passes across this railroad. It seems like in the case of on final, I'm not making full 180-degree circuits, am I?
Well, you could be. I mean, it wouldn't really hurt. It really just depends on the situation. So, you know, if it's a spacing issue, you can also use it to, you know, if they've left you high for some reason, let's say the tower has said to you, you know, maintain 2000 or something, you're then actually quite close into the runway. You might want to S-turn to descend a bit, you know, rather than slipping, for example. Some aeroplanes you might prefer to S-turn if they don't slip terribly well. Or it may be for spacing, where you know you just want to give yourself some more space for slower traffic in front, and you've got to be close to them. So, I mean, in a kind of extreme case, yes, you might be making S-turns like this, but probably not that much.
Yeah, so what would it look like in that case? I mean...
Well, you'd be looking down there as the runway, right? And you're a bit high, or you're a bit close to traffic, and you're making S-turns to either come down more or slow down
But I mean,
the relative position.
in that case, I mean, I can literally just like bank, like turn, say, 45 degrees to the right and then back.
Yeah, and that's probably more
Sort
like
of.
what you'd be doing. Yeah.
I've never been asked, you know, I've never encountered that scenario.
Yeah.
And I just wondered, you know, the S-turns aren't going to look like you know, like I got on my check ride. You know, I was thinking more like this.
Yeah, I mean, on the check ride, what they're really doing there is they're seeing if you can accurately control the aircraft relative to ground features, just like turn around a point.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you're, I mean, it's not a normal approach when you're S-turning on the approach. You're just doing what's necessary to not, say, overtake traffic ahead of you. And so you're going to do what you need to do. I mean, the other option, if you were that close to them, rather than making extreme S-turns, you might just say, look, I'll break off and go round and come do it again.
The one thing, when I was flying with that Vashon guy, we flew up to another airport that was, the pattern was full, and he did a straight-in approach.
Right.
Which was just sort of rude.
Yeah.
But he,
Bit more right rudder.
thanks. He, on final, you know, maybe 4 miles out, could see that, you know, this isn't going to work. And so he did a 360 right there on that.
On the extended center line.
Right. And
that's also kind of rude, to be honest.
And he said to me, oh, this is why you learn to do turns around a point. Or I think what he said is, this is why you learn to do steep turns. And then, you know, he sort of lined back up and continued on, and we landed. You know, I think we inconvenienced a few people, but I just didn't know if that was sort of standard practice. It seemed strange to me.
It's not. There's an article, I haven't read it yet, but there's an article in Latest Sport Aviation about entering the traffic pattern. And I don't think if you read that, you're going to find anywhere where they say be in close to the pattern, making steep turns to overcome the fact you've made a straight-in approach rather than joining it properly. I mean, there could be situations where you have to do that. So there'll be times down by Sky Park where, before I've entered on the 45, I've made a 360 for spacing. So it kind of depends where he was, but if you were kind of close in to the traffic pattern, making a 360-degree turn essentially on the center line on final, I'd say that's a point where you should have just gone round. And I can see doing that on downwind. You'll see people, like if we were here on downwind, we got the downhill runway over there, and there's one of those little trainers ahead of us, and I realize, oh crap, I'm a bit close in, and he's probably not going to turn aggressively to his base leg. He's going to extend down here a little bit. I'm going to really get close to him, and also don't want to be bumping into the Class Bravo airspace down there, so I might call, if there's nobody behind me or nobody is going to interfere with, I might call and say, okay, X-ray Delta's midfield downwind, I'm going to make a 360 turn here just for spacing. That would be perfectly legitimate.
Okay.
But, you know, that's in a way why you want to be careful just blasting into the pattern to try as much as possible to adjust your spacing before you're on the 45.
The one thing I wondered if you would show me some slips. I mean, I lined up
Sure.
with the railroad, but I wondered if you wouldn't mind doing that.
Well, I got the airplane here.
Okay, your flight control.
So what we're going to do, so let's say that's the runway right there. I'm just going to throttle back a little bit here. I mean, you'd have the throttle closed pretty much, but so I'm keeping it basically, and you see the rate of descent. Yeah, I've got power on, so I'm going to bring some of that off. So down 1,000 feet a minute right now, and so I'm keeping it airspeed constant, right? I've got left wing down, I've got a boot full of right rudder here, so I'm keeping straight there. And then before landing, I would just straighten up
So that's a forward slip?
Yeah. And so a side slip would just be kind of dependent on there being wind from, say, the left.
Right.
Or, let's see, we've actually got wind from the left. But there, basically, if we were drifting, just going to come up to the power here. So basically, a side slip would be, I'd put the wing down there if we were drifting, right, and I'd keep in some rudder like that again. So it would be a side slip because the wind would be tending to push us to the right, and I'm controlling us to go to the left.
Yeah. It's interesting because in both cases it's the same sort of controls, right? Cross control.
Yeah, that's right. And it's partly to do, now I'm not sure, you'd have to probably read about this to check if what I'm saying is correct, but it's partly to do with kind of where, where you're looking. That's good.
What are you? That's quite a group.
Whoa.
Wow.
Beautiful.
There were 2 loners over here.
But it's also partly to do with where you're looking. Right, so if it's a side slip, and like I say, you need to read about this to check if what I'm saying is correct, because I may actually be wrong about this. But I think it's kind of to do with where you're looking. So if I was in a side slip, I'm kind of looking forward, because what I'm doing is counteracting that drift that's occurring.
Right.
If I'm in a forward slip, I'm kind of looking down here because I've got the aeroplane angled to the side, basically to get myself a higher rate of descent without building up speed. I mean, that's the point. It's not just you're doing that because you want to just stick the nose down.
Yeah, I mean, the way I thought about it when I was doing it for the check ride was, I'm going to use as much rudder as I need to lose altitude, and then I'm going to use aileron to keep myself on the extended center line. And that seemed to work, and if I needed more altitude, I'd use more rudder and therefore more aileron. And it, that seemed to work for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if that's actually the right way round. But it's interesting. I mean, you might be right. You see, I always enter a forward slip by not rudder, then aileron. I do it aileron and then cross controls with the rudder like that.
Interesting.
That feels more natural to me, but I bet there's good, you read up with somebody like that guy who does the Krog or whatever his name is in sport aviation. I bet they've got some good stuff on side slips and forward slips somewhere. But the forward slip is a really nice maneuver because you find, it depends on the aeroplane. In this aeroplane, we don't have any flaps to worry about. So it's kind of nice to have that as a means of controlling the descent, along with the fact we've got a big propeller that's constant speed. We can put that in fine pitch. Although what I notice is when I do that on final, which it should be in fine pitch because you might have to go around it, it does give a bit of backfiring. So I'm always so sensitive to not let the speed build up too much with it in fine pitch like that. But I mean, the forward slip gives this really nice sense of control of speed and rate of descent, and you can take it out really quickly, which is nice. But yeah, we can fly up here towards that air up there, and if in a bit you want to try a side slip, go right ahead and do it.
Okay, my flight controls?
If you want to, I'll take a little bit of power out, so we're not pulling the aeroplane in odd directions. So wherever you want to do it, let me know and I'll pull the power back a bit.
I mean, should I do it here?
Sure, if you want to.
Okay, so left aileron.
So what I'm doing is I'm pulling some power off here just gently.
Okay. So then I would go left aileron and right rudder.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, you're quite...
I need more rudder.
Yeah.
Whoa, this is a little bit squirrely.
That's right.
How do I... I'm trying to keep that distant mountain straight ahead. I can't see descent rate. Am I descending?
Yeah, 500 feet a minute. That's
wow.
very nice. You're in a nice forward slip right there.
Okay, I'm going to try to bring that back out.
And you see how quickly you bring it out, and as soon as you do, you're back to flying the aeroplane. I mean, normally it's back to straight and level, and you're not descending anymore.
I do feel like when I brought that out, the nose was left of where I wanted it. You know what I mean? Like maybe I should have brought it out more slowly, or...
Well, or just maybe slightly different combination of controls.
Right, yeah.
Maybe you needed a little bit more rudder. I mean...
That was cool. I didn't sense the descent. I can't see the...
So yeah, we're just going to do it. I pull it back in. So just do it again. So left wing down.
Left wing down.
And then keep it straight with the rudder. You don't have to put the left wing down radically. That's good enough right there.
Okay.
And you're down 500 feet a minute. A little bit more right rudder.
Yeah, there we go. I see. I'm just picking a point on the horizon here.
Yeah.
Kind of like...
And that's a really nice stabilized approach down about 600 feet a minute.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to try to bring it out. Yeah, see, why do I swing so far left?
Well, it's just, it's basically bring some power back up here. It's basically just coordinated control movements, right? So it's just like in a turn where you're moving from, say, a left turn to a right turn. Let's head over here to the right a bit. Just follow the coastline around. But yeah, I mean, that's why, control coordination is something you're always sort of aiming for and practicing. So that if you enter a maneuver like that, it's smooth, you're coming out, you're keeping the ball back to center as soon as you can. And obviously it's not going to be centered when you're in a forward slip.
Sort of watching. I saw a couple of birds go by at our altitude.
Right.
They didn't seem to care about us, but... So when you're flying off hours on an experimental plane, do you have to, are there requirements on what you're supposed to accomplish during that time period? I'm just thinking of, do you need to characterize the plane in terms of stalls and, I don't know.
I actually don't know. I know that EAA has a series of kind of checklists for maneuvers to try and do, and in that time frame, I'm not sure what the FAA requires, but they probably require something. They're going to require that it be stalled. They're going to require that if it's an aerobatic aeroplane, that it demonstrates aerobatic maneuvers, a loop, a roll, a stall turn, whatever. And the only reason I say that is I know I've seen that in the Youngman logbook for the sign-off for aerobatics.
Wow.
But I don't really know actually what. I mean, mostly I think they want to make sure the aeroplane, isn't running into cooling problems, or so they just want to make sure it can fly reliably for 40 hours or whatever it is. The big problem that people have is things like oil temperature not being cool enough, and just general engine cooling is a big source of issues for experimental aircraft, because even production aeroplanes, you get one aeroplane runs hotter than another just because of something weird about the baffling and under the cowling or something. I mean, mostly their production, they're going to be the same, but you know, you can find ones that are different. You know, there's a little bit of a leak going on with the rubber seal, you know, that isn't particularly good under the cowling. Wow, lake's low, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I found it interesting with this aeroplane. It seems to be very stable and have a good approach slope at 80 miles an hour, and doesn't seem to require much of a side slip to control that. You know, it seems to take up a pretty nice normal approach, whereas the biplane, also because it's a lot blinder, you know, I tend to forward slip on the final, because that gives a much better view of the runway, and also just helps to control that descent rate. But with this aeroplane, I think it's a lot to do with the propeller. When you put the propeller in fine pitch, it's like a big speed brake.
Wow.
And so it seems to just fly right down the final very nicely in most days. I mean, obviously there could be something where I've turned too late or too early and need to make adjustments because of that, but
So, I'm just kind of cruising along. I was sort of thinking about maybe going up by Golden Spike.
sure, why not do that? That'd be fun. Seems like it's nice up here. Nobody else to worry about.
So my iPad says Sentry, no towers.
Let's see.
But isn't
Mine
it
says
true
same.
that... Go ahead.
Mine says the same.
Isn't it true that if there was another plane broadcasting, it would pick that up? You know, we don't have to have a tower in order to pick up another aircraft, correct?
Yeah, because I thought it was essentially airborne. What does the A stand for?
Yeah. I don't know. I can't remember what the acronym stands for.
Yeah, I think you're right. In fact, can we see if we... Oh, actually, I don't see any other traffic, so maybe...
Yeah.
Oh, well.
What do they use this little airstrip for?
Well, like, there's a house over there, so maybe it's something to do with that. I don't know.
It's kind of fun.
I mean, I've always viewed this one looks a bit more like it's a private strip than the one which is also private down on the point there. So I've never landed on this one, but actually it's a pretty nice looking strip.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a hangar there because I don't think it's big enough for an aeroplane.
Yeah.
It looks like they've got a helicopter landing pad there, that concrete pad. But it's a relatively short strip. It'll be kind of fun.
And narrow.
Yeah.
So we've got traffic on our right, 700 feet above us.
So that
229 AV, Alpha Victor. But that's an example where we're getting a signal from him.
right.
interesting that the wind gustiness or variation doesn't seem to always correspond directly to the terrain. And I'm sort of looking around and I'm like, is there any reason to expect bumps in that spot?
Well, over here, right, so it may be the wind is actually coming slightly southeast here. Let's have a look what wind is saying. Yeah, you see, so the wind up here is kind of from the southeast.
Oh.
So we're getting something up behind us on the right here.
Be okay if I follow this road to the right?
Do whatever you want, but within reason.
Was the wind very strong when you looked at it on windy?
Not particularly, but why say that? I mean, I didn't look at the actual speed, but it's... I mean, it's kind of like that.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm
Still
guessing...
blues and greens.
Yeah.
One of the days I flew at Santa Paula, it was a windy day, and he had me doing S-turns, which, you know, was a ton of work, but then as we got close to the hill, I mean, we just got thrown around so much that it was hard to tell what was going on. So, you know, he encouraged me to stay away from the hill.
Yeah. Well, and that's valid, because, you know, the problem is you get downdrafts, and you know about, you know, crossing the top of a ridgeline at 45 degrees, so rather than direct on, because you want to be able to make a turn away from it if you're suddenly in a downdraft. I mean, this you have to be right up against the hillside. Then why do it, right?
Yeah.
Who wants to be bounced around all the time? It just makes you feel sick. Kind of fun. A few times I've flown past here when they've had the two trains out nose to nose.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's really fun to see.
I don't see either of them out now.
No, I think they're in their sheds. But it's amazing. 150 years ago.
I mean, that's the thing that struck me about our Wyoming trip is, you know, sort of the suffering and travails. It wasn't that long ago, you know, walking across the continent. I mean, it's unbelievable. You know, we could do in a few hours in our minivan what it took them a few months.
Yeah. So you can turn. See, that's nice. When you're making a turn and you're not really thinking about it, you're just making a turn. You're keeping it nicely coordinated.
Okay.
So I think what's happening is, you know, just getting more sort of that muscle memory feel for it. When you're trying to do an S-turn, you're thinking about other things, including keeping the ball centered, and so that probably makes it more difficult. But just flying along, you're doing just fine.
Good.
The other thing that you can do with the slipping is a slipping turn. So, for example, at Santa Paula, you're in quite close if you were landing to the east, right?
Okay.
There's that bit where you're not meant to come over the trailer park or whatever it is.
Right, yeah.
So you need to sort of turn in front of that, I think. And you're already relatively close in because of the mountain. So it's sometimes hard to get from pattern altitude down onto a decent approach without going out over that trailer park. So if you're turning inside it, to increase the rate of descent in the turn, you can actually start slipping in the turn. So that'll be something where you're starting the turn, and then you're actually putting essentially the forward slip type control inputs in on top of that turn, and you really come down nicely in the turn. So a slipping turn is also quite nice. And in fact,
but is that, that to me sounds like cross control when you're close to the ground, like bad idea in terms of, spin stall.
Well,
and, your airspeed indicator is not going to be as accurate when you're slipping. And so I just,
that's
tend
true.
to get a little nervous about that.
That's true, but
I guess if you have plenty of airspeed, it's one thing.
Yeah, that's right. You're going down is the thing. You're not... You've got probably quite a margin before you'd actually get to the point of stalling one of the wings. So yes, you're right. You don't want to be cross-controlled unnecessarily, but you also might want to be getting down to the runway. And so the thing that feels odd sometimes like that, in a right turn like that, I might actually have some left aileron in and a boot full of right rudder.
Oh, interesting.
To go round, and so you're sort of in that slipping turn as you go down, and that's actually quite a nice maneuver too. But yeah, it's the sort of thing to go out and practice and get instruction from somebody like Mark King or one of those guys who are teaching all the time and not going to let you get into trouble.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense that the rudder is going in the direction of the turn.
Right.
That seems safer than the opposite.
Yep.
One of the kids I flew with in Santa Paula, I liked him, but he was a little bit nonchalant. And on that gusty day, he said, "Well, here, let me do the landing," because it was a mess. And we did a go around on the first attempt, and it was that, we were landing to the east. And on his second attempt, he was overshooting the runway. And so he really cranked it, kind of steep bank and pulled back and got the stall horn to come on, which of course I didn't like to hear that close to the ground. And he seemed surprised by that. He was like, "Oh, well, that, must have been some kind of mistake because I was fine." And I just sort of wonder if, he wasn't as fine as he thought he was.
Probably right.
With the way the wind was gusting, it just seemed to me like maybe we should have gone around again. But we got on the ground.
You can have that happen in a gusty condition on the approach. The stall horn might go off because the gust is affecting the aeroplane. But yeah, you don't want to. You want to be ready for that. I mean, obviously, there's still a margin even when the stall warning's going off.
Sure.
So, yeah, you just want to make sure you're adding a little bit of power, lowering the angle of attack, and that could be just like a little blip even. But it is interesting to see that you can stall an aeroplane also pretty much at any airspeed. So
Yeah.
when I was last out of Santa Paula doing a loop, so nose vertical coming down, and I pulled just a little bit hard. Yeah, they were close.
Yeah.
Pulled a little bit too hard, and I could feel the pre-stall buffet on the wing. You know, so just had to relax the controls, and that was fine.
Interesting.
Because you know, it was interesting to feel the stall pointed straight down.
Wow.
And a relatively high. You know, we were probably doing at that point, I don't know, 120 or something like that. You know, we were on the accelerating part of the down slope from the loop.
I mean, how many, were you pulling a lot of G's?
Probably about 2.5, something like that. Maybe a little bit more. 2.5, maybe 3. And but obviously, you know, combination of speed and load on the aeroplane, you know, it began to stall. I could just feel it through the controls, the pre-stall buffet.
I didn't even ask how were we on fuel when we started.
It's always a good thing to check. We actually had about 3/4 tank, so we had 3 hours when we set off.
Okay. I just assume you've got all this,
Yep.
which you do, of course.
Yeah, but it's always a good thing to check too. I noticed that somebody put this label on here. Probably somebody who once upon a time had run their tanks dry and thinks it's a good idea to always have something to remind you that you need fuel.
Well, it's, you know, it surprises me how often I'll get in a car and drive 5 minutes before I look at the fuel gauge and realize, oh my goodness, I'm out of gas. I wonder if I would have seen those birds if I'd been looking straight ahead at the time. I was actually looking out to the side as they flew by. I just don't know how visible they are head on like that.
Yeah, well, of course, you know, the closing speed is relatively high, so
Yeah. In fact, that eagle we passed out over Tooele, or wherever we were,
Tooele, yeah.
you know, I could only see him, I saw him on the video after the fact, but in real time, I just saw him go by the wing. It's nice and smooth here.
Yeah, that's right, just thinking the same thing. I always think it's fun when you're flying and it sort of feels the air's still enough that you, or at least calm enough that you feel kind of like you're on rails.
Yeah.
It's kind of super fun. Of course, you can't see it here, but you're doing a nice job of it. Yeah. To be able to sense, you know, 5 feet up or down, and you're within that band. You know, you're right. Nothing is moving.
That's cool. Yeah, it's interesting. It wants just a little bit of right aileron.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, these are the occasions where it's so still like this, that kind of becomes irritating.
It was interesting to see the heavy machinery sort of scooping up, I suppose it's salt or whatever it is they're digging up over there on the left.
Oh yeah, yeah, I guess it is salt. Because that's the Morton, or was the Morton salt plant, isn't it?
That's cool. So I'm just sort of in no man's land here, cutting a corner. Follow this little road around. Yeah, kind of interesting. Big old dump truck.
It looks small down there, doesn't it?
Yeah. Turn to the south.
You're a long way from it, but you remember there are towers down there.
Yeah, I do have traffic coming right at us, 100 feet above.
Right.
You see him?
Yep, I don't see it, but I see him on here.
What do I do? Like, should I
just keep on going? He may be going into Ogden, or he may be out here.
He's coming toward us.
In the practice area.
Bravo Alpha.
So he's now, yeah, I mean, you can go down a bit. He's now 200 feet above us.
Yeah. You see him at all?
Nope, I don't.
I just don't like it when it's in an intercepting. There we go. No, just a glint. Oh, I got him off to the left. He's in a left turn.
Okay, yeah.
Traffic.
But you see, even though it's showing yellow here, so caution, he's a long way away from us.
Right, yeah.
I mean, if you closed your eyes at this point and just kept flying, you probably wouldn't hit him.
True, yeah.
Famous last words, of course. But
So that's what 300 feet looks like?
400 feet, yeah. And the thing always to remember is, you know, you didn't need to even look at the ADS-B. You could tell you weren't going to hit him.
Sure.
So then you stop fixating on him, because the airplane that might run into you is actually over here, and you're focused on this one, which is no factor.
Interesting. I was staring at him the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens. You kind of get fixated on one. But thinking about it, you know, we weren't going to hit him, so keep an eye out for the other one. Yeah, I think fourth flight can work for me on the phone in the biplane.
Have you got it connected to your headset with Bluetooth?
Nope, I can do that too.
Yeah, it's kind of nice in that you get the audio alerts, you know, in your ears. So traffic and runways and things like that. So you don't even have to look at your phone. I mean, the only thing I've found annoying is every now and then it'll start playing music without me meaning it.
Oh.
I'm not exactly
it's music
sure.
you don't like.
Yeah, I'm like, you know, I didn't ask for that. But I keep the switch on my Bose headset on mute, which I think shuts off the music.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
I mean, I still need to play with that and figure exactly out how it works, but I do like the audio alerts in the headset from ForeFlight. It doesn't look like there's much wind. I'm looking at the smoke on the left there.
That's a good thing to be looking at. Yeah, I think there's not much. I think the forecast was around about 4 miles an hour, gusting 10 or 12 or something like that. But you can see it's a little bit, it looks like it's pretty much from about 200 degrees, something like that. I was talking to Kate and saying that, you know, it's always a good idea, even when you think you know what the wind is. Like, so we're going to land at Bountiful, round about here, start looking for smoke or flags or something like that, just to get a little bit of a sense of what the wind's doing. I mean, obviously at some places you can get automatic weather too, but it's surprising the number of people who you see landing downwind.
Interesting.
I mean, not so much in a way when it's a really strong wind, because then it's sort of really apparent, but when there's like a 5-knot wind or something like that, you'll see people landing downwind, just because they sort of had it in their mind that's the direction the wind was coming from.
I mean, I've done it a few times where the wind will switch, and I don't like it. I mean, one of my solo cross countries to Pocatello, they had me landing to the north, and then on my 4th landing, I guess it was, or 3rd, I guess I did 3. You know, the plane felt weird. I mean, I got it down and everything was okay, but I was like, that was sure weird.
Yep.
And as I'm taxiing, I heard him say, oh, we're going to switch runways for wind.
Right.
You know, telling the traffic in the pattern. I was like, oh, that's what happened.
But it's good that it felt abnormal, right? I mean, The worrying thing would have been if you thought, oh, it was perfectly good landing, rather than, hey, the ground seemed to be going past a bit faster than normal.
So I'm going to turn toward those ski boat.
Yeah, that's good. Wow, look at all the development going on down here. It's crazy.
I suppose with that new road going in, it'll really open up this area.
I guess they're planning on the lake never coming up again. Which of course may be accurate.
Traffic not available.
We can probably begin to gently descend here a bit. We're at 6,000.
Okay.
Traffic.
I didn't actually mean to climb that high.
Oh, interesting. Why are they saying traffic right on top of us? That must be us.
Yeah, I don't see anybody.
Yeah. No, I think it was just thinking we were somebody else. Hopefully. Okay, so we've got somebody over here a couple hundred feet below us.
Let's see him. The one I see on here is same altitude.
Yeah, it is now, same altitude, straight ahead. So just keep an eye out for that one.
Yeah. Four Flight's predicting a path to our left.
And that's good.
He's Delta Delta. Do you want to turn up the radio and see if maybe he's talking?
Sky Park 111, Quebec, left downwind, 17.
interesting, I just don't see him.
Yeah. Must have passed off our left, but yeah, I did see him.
Okay, we'll tell you what, why don't I take over here?
Okay. Your flight controls?
Okay.
Sky Park 111, Quebec, left base 17.
Skybar traffic, Cruiser 149, Bravo Foxtrot on the 45, runway 17, full stop, Skybar.
Sky Park 118, Quebec, final, runway 17.
Traffic area traffic, Decathlon, Sierra X-ray Delta is 2 miles west of Lagoon, 5,500. I'll be on the east side of I-15, southbound, landing at Bountiful.
Skybar traffic, Cruiser 149, Bravo Foxtrot, turning left base, runway 17, full stop, Skybar.
Skybar traffic, station 65474
Sky Park 118, Quebec, going around runway 17.
Skybar traffic, Cruiser 149, Bravo Foxtrot, turning final, runway 17, Skybar.
Sky Park 118, Quebec, left crosswind 17.
Skybar traffic, Cruiser 149, Bravo Foxtrot, final runway 17, full stop, Skybar.
Sky Park 118, Quebec, left downwind 17.
Skybar traffic, Cruiser 149, Bravo Foxtrot, clear runway 17, Skybar.
So I'm going to just carry on straight up here and then come round to join on the 45.
Okay. I see 8 Quebec, it looks like in the pattern.
Right.
I don't see anybody else.
And Skybar traffic, Decathlon, Sierra X-ray Delta, central interchange 5,300. I'm going to maneuver over Bountiful to come around to the 45, left downwind 17.
Sky Park 118, Quebec, on final runway 17. Sky Park 118 Quebec going around runway 17.
That's his second go round. Do you suppose he's just practicing?
Probably.
Go rounds?
Yeah.
He's going to join you on the downwind, I think.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking that too.
And Skybox traffic, X-ray Delta just over I-15 and making my turn into the 45 for the left downwind 17.
Can you see where he is? Probably over here somewhere.
Still on the extended.
Sky Park 118 Quebec, left crosswind 17.
Yeah, I got him.
And X-ray Delta's joining on the 45 17. X-ray Delta's left downwind 17. X-ray Delta's base leg 17, Sky Park.
Sky Park 118 Quebec downwind 17.
X-ray Delta's turning final 17.
Sky Park, plus one Charlie Tango, left downwind 7.
Sky Park traffic, we're 27 kilos, about 6 miles to the north, inbound for landing. What runway is everybody using?
Sky Park 118 Quebec, left base, runway 17.
Well done.
Thank you. So I did just a little slip there on the approach. I don't know if you noticed that.
I didn't actually. Cool.
Yes, it wasn't very much. I mean, just...
I was just amazed at how fast we were dropping, but...
Yeah, so that's because we were in a little bit of a slip. Well, actually, no, right at the end there, we were just... yeah, obviously flared and just waiting for the ground to come up to us.
Was that a tail wheel first?
Nope, no,
Sky Park
no, we
traffic,
touched on 3.
61 Charlie.
It's very difficult to touch the tail wheel first on this. Partly it's
What
got
Charlie Tango, you're coming in real quiet.
long legs.
Sky Park traffic, Cessna 161 Charlie Tango, left base 17.
Okay.